There's just no better sound. Hello. Today, you and I and you, together, we're gonna spend a little bookish afternoon. I actually just finished, hold on, A Wrinkle in Time, which was a reread for me. This was one of my very favorite books from my childhood. So it was an absolute delight to see that this book was kind of making the rounds again, was being quoted, particularly as we kind of navigate this weird, odd, angering time in our society. I also think it was in like Stranger Things or something. I could not find a copy, and randomly one day, one singular copy in my whole 42 branch library system was available at a library close to me, so I had to pick it up. I will be reviewing this in like a wrap-up video next month, but all that's beside the point. Today, we're spending a bookish afternoon, and in part because I need to return this and a few other books to the library, we are also going to be using my handy-dandy TBR jar to choose our next read, or help us choose our next read. We'll hit the library, see if we can find a book that fits that TBR jar prompt. If we can't, we'll go to Half Price Books, which I need to go to anyway because I need to sell a few books, and then hopefully use the funds from from selling those books to buy another book, if necessary. Try not to spend any money on books this year if I can, and just use the library. But if push comes to shove, I'll do it. But only secondhand. Before we head off to the library, I need to figure out what I want to read next. If you don't know, I am a big time, massive mood reader. I never do well if I go into a month or any set amount of time and say, this is the book that I am going to read, and I have to do it, and I will do it. Too much pressure, too much stress, too much rigidity, and my brain does not like it. So I don't do it. Instead, what I have done is decided to kind of do a take on a TBR jar, because oftentimes I don't know what I want to read next, and I kind of need some guidance, but want the freedom to choose between anything that might fit within that guidance. As you can see behind me, I do not own a ton of books. Most of these are library books that I need to return. Some of them are ARCs, and there's a couple of physical books that I have gotten secondhand and either have read and need to go ahead and sell, or they've just been on that shelf for a while, and I don't actually think that I'm going to read them. And if I do want to read them, I'll just get them from the library when I'm ready. But all that to say that I am going to actually use this cutie little jar full of prompts, and I'm going to pick a prompt, and then I'm going to go to the library, and I'm going to find a book on the shelves that match the prompt. And that's how I'm going to be using my TBR jar. So it's not really a TBR jar. It's more like a library guidance jar, a suggestion jar, a jar of prompts, whatever you want to call it. It's going to help me and my little mood reading, library loving brain decide what to read next. Let's go ahead and dig into the jar. The colors mean absolutely nothing. I just went on pure vibes when I chose them. So let's see. This one is a book written by an author when they were 50 plus years old. Now, this one, I'm gonna put back in the jar because it's my jar, it's my rules. And that one's a little hard for me to do if I'm just browsing at the library, and I don't do my TBR jars like anyone else does them because I am who I am and I do what I want to do. So we're gonna choose a different color this time and see if that changes anything about the ease of me finding this at the library. A book with a character who is my age. Again, a little hard to do when I'm browsing. Let's go with another blue one. Let's just see what we get this time. Another book by an author who wrote one of your favorite books of last year. That's a good one. And I actually think I have some books in mind. I'm gonna grab all the books that I need to return to the library and then the books that I want to sell, and we are going to get on our merry little way. just made it to one of my library branches. This one actually was closed for a while for renovations and opened up at the end of last year, at the end of 2025. And I have not been since the renovations were completed. So I'm really excited to check it out. I'm hoping that it is not too busy because it is now after school, and I love libraries. You all know that I love libraries. And I also know that libraries that are anywhere near a school or that children can get to easily will be crazy in after school hours on school days. So I've got at least one author in mind that I'm hoping they have a book for. But if not, we'll browse and we'll see what I find. It is multiple days later. Look, listen. Life just lifed. So here we are, a couple days later, and let's talk about what I got from the library. Because I manifested this. At the first library, I was browsing, I was looking around at a lot of things. I found a lot of books that I really wanted to read and was interested in, but didn't fall into the category of having been written by an author that I read and loved last year. So I thought to myself, Kristin Hannah has written like so many books, and I've only read a few of them. Last year, I think I ended my year. It might have been the last book or one of the last books that I read was called Winter Garden, and it was fabulous. And I have thought that every Kristin Hannah book is fabulous, but they only had Firefly Lane, and that is probably like the book Kristin Hannah has written that I have the least interest in reading. And I thought to myself, shoot, I really wish this was The Women. Not so subtle foreshadowing. They had 3 copies of The Women at the next library. Couldn't believe it. And by that point, I was like, I don't want to go to half price books. And why do I need to? I got the book that I wanted, so I saved those books that I was going to sell for the next time that I do this TBR jar thing. So I actually have a little bit of time before I go into the library today. So I figured, why not do a little reading montage? It is 7:50 now, and I need to probably start getting ready in 20 minutes. So maybe we'll make it through 20 pages. Maybe that's a good challenge. Can I make it through 20 pages of reading in 20 minutes? Fun. Oh, God. Okay, made it to page 25 already. Distraught, tugging at my heartstrings. Kristin Hannah just knows how to write a book. I don't get how she does it, but she does it every time without fail. This one, no different. I mean, I'm like 4 chapters in, which I love. I love when a chapter is like short and sweet. I like don't even know what to say without spoiling things that happen, but basically our main character, Frankie, is a nurse. She went to college to be a nurse, and she has a brother who also is in the Navy, in the war. And he was shipped out to Vietnam. She finished her degree in nursing and decided to enlist. And she ended up enlisting in the Army. And her parents have put a lot of pressure on their kids to be successful and to be heroes. But Frankie and her brother Finley's type of pressure was very different. Because Finley was a man, his pressure was like be a good soldier, like join the Navy, come home, take over the family business. And Frankie's pressure was get married to a wealthy man. I was gonna say a good man, but I don't even know if that really matters to them. She like goes home and she thinks her parents are gonna be so proud of her. And they are not. Like, she walks in the door and she says, I have news, and her mom puts down her book and is like,
thank God you finally found someone that you're interested in, a man that you're interested in.
And I was like, Jesus. And she's confused, you know, she's really confused on why Finley got this like excitement and this whole like going away party, and she gets disappointment. And it's an interesting concept in time, because, you know, she wasn't even like thinking that this was something that she could do and that's something, you know, that women could do. And this was like in 1966. That was like 76, 86, 96, 06, 16, 26, 60 years ago. Crazy. But like 60 years ago, a life for a woman was so different. And it makes me grateful that I'm growing up and living in the time that I am, and also just really puts into perspective like how much has changed in so like little time in the grand scheme of things. Like, that's not even one generation that things have changed that much in. And I think it just gives me hope as we, you know, sit here in this current time. I'm sitting here in 2026 and looking at things happening in our world, and I'm like, how is this what's going on? And it just gives me hope that, you know, hopefully 60 years from now, someone will be looking at this time and say, wow, I'm so grateful that things have changed, and look at how far we've come. All of that from 25 pages in a Christian handbook. But I think that's what I needed. I think that's what I needed this morning. So I am going to, I think, wrap up this video here. It's been a fun little time with you. Doing a few little fun bookish things. I will hopefully see you in my next video. And with that, goodbye and cheers.